Hello, fabulous people. This is the Together podcast, and this is the place where Cherise and I come together to help you get it together for your everyday business life. So we hope you enjoy.
I had I'm doing amazing, Nat. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. A little bit of crunch time. I'm actually on my way out of town for my annual TD Jakes conference. So he does it used to be called Pastors and Leadership Conference, but now I just think he calls it an International Leadership Conference.
Yeah.
And so I'm so excited. I got such wisdom from it last time.
Yeah.
And it was just a couple of little gems. And so I'd love to talk about that tonight, the importance of having a well in which you draw from. You have to with that. And I think I'm noticing in my year, because the longer you spend time with yourself, the better you get to know your patterns. And so I'm noticing in my year that I need this kind of like mountaintop, I'm going to call them mountaintop experiences for me to come down with energy and execute over like 3 months. I'm good for like 3 months and then I tend to trail off. And so one thing that I'm learning for myself is I need to have a new mountaintop experience, whatever that may be, about once a quarter to keep my energy level and productivity high. So that's where it is. So I'm on my way to Tampa tomorrow. I'm excited.
That makes sense. It's a reset. You need a reset every quarter. That makes sense.
Yeah. So how are you? What you doing? Have you like settled back into full work mode from all of your travels?
Yeah, I have settled back in, but I had a call Tuesdays are my coaching calls. I'm on calls all day. So whether it's the masterminds I'm in or if I'm on my coaching my clients, I was telling one of my clients, like, it's been a blur. Like, I need to gather myself today because, it's really been a blur. And we had it was a coaching call for me. So she gave me some really great coaching and kind of brought me back to speed and gave me, a few tasks that really are going to help me. Like, I need things that I can implement fast and see results fast. So she really brought me back to speed. And when I got on the phone, I was like, hey, I don't have my homework and I don't even know what it is. She said, okay, all right. She said, well, let me ask you a couple of questions. So that went really well. And I'm excited to jump into that tonight once we get off of our call.
Okay. So what do you want to talk about tonight? Because I want to talk about just kind of the need to have a well to draw from. What would you like to talk about tonight before we just jump in? Did you have anything in mind?
I love that topic. I had something in mind, somewhat similar. I was thinking discipline and support. And that I think we can make those work together.
Yeah, definitely so. Because having that well to draw from is basically your support.
Yeah.
And so I'm one of my mentors. She's a Caucasian female. And I'm sure y'all know how you kind of be counting people's money. Yeah. And so I'm sure she makes at least $500,000 a year with that. But what I noticed on the last call I had, and I may have said this before because this has been really on my mind since I had that call from her. In the span of the conversation, it wasn't anything like big or anything. She wasn't preaching or anything, but in the span of the conversation, I noticed that she said, my doctor, my therapist, my coach, my lawyer, my accountant. And I just was like, wow. Okay, so you still at your level, you still have a business coach. At your level, you're still seeing a therapist. At your level, you're still you're making sure you attend all your doctor's appointments. You're listening to your accountant and you're listening to your lawyer. And it just really honed in for me
Mm-hmm.
how important it is to have a support system and
Yeah.
how she can operate on that level. And so making sure you as a business owner have those supports in place. And it may not look like probably on her level, but
Mm-hmm.
there's way. I'm sure there's a friend who can give you some coaching from time to time that you
Mm-hmm.
can say, hey, can we do lunch once a month and you just
Yeah.
kind of keep me on task, or just
Mm-hmm.
I would say get an accountant. I'm gonna say pay for an accountant, because with money stuff I have learned you kind of get what you pay for. And you I don't That's not the place to pinch your pennies.
That is not that
That's
right
not the
there is
place to
not.
pinch your pennies. Dude, don't pinch your pennies in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So full
Yeah.
out pay to get that expertise, to get your money
Yeah.
right, to get your taxes right, and all of
Yeah.
that. But I think there are other ways where you can pinch your pennies and do things differently.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
Mm-hmm.
making sure that you have all those things in places, and then identify, how am I going to keep myself running at optimal level?
Mm-hmm.
What does that take? I
Yeah.
notice when I go to this conference, I seem to be filled up and on fire and excited for my business. So I need to
Yeah.
be going to this conference every year. Or I need to be talking to this person once a month, or I need to be
Mm-hmm.
listening to this, or,
Yeah.
this YouTube video does it for me.
Yeah.
And so I want people to be very conscious about their, I'm going to say their diet,
Mm-hmm.
their mental energetic
Yeah.
diet of
Yeah.
what they're and what they need to consume. And
Yeah.
so if you are a pro athlete, like, you're measuring your food. You want to know where your food come
Yeah.
from. You want to know what
Mm-hmm.
preservatives are in it. Like, everything about what's going into the body is taken advanced, especially
Mm-hmm.
marathon runners, like,
Mm-hmm.
because they specifically have to gear up to make sure they have enough energy for the long haul. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's what I want to challenge
Mm-hmm.
people today, is to really sit down and look at yourself and look at your performance over the
Mm-hmm.
last couple of years. When was
Yeah.
a down period for you? When is a up time for you? For some
Mm-hmm.
reason, I think it's because we go back to school in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
I gear up in the fall automatically. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the fall is a natural, energetic time for me. Like, I
Yeah.
gear up
Yeah.
automatically. I can look at several things in my life, and it's like, I don't know. I feel that first burst of fall, and it's like, oh, it's time to go to work with
Yeah.
that. And so I don't need as much support in the fall because it
Mm-hmm.
happens naturally. I need it this time of year. Just
Yeah.
kind of I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And
I get it.
I have energy in January. It's the new year, that use New Year's
Mm-hmm.
resolution. It
Mm-hmm.
carries me through usually January, February, March. And so I
Mm-hmm.
usually am planning stuff in December and January, executing around March. And then for whatever reason, April, May is a lull for me. And then the summer,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I shouldn't be working.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
I should be on vacation. And so I
Yeah.
have to have size. That is my problem area. I
Mm-hmm.
think April, May, June, July, with that. And so making sure that I have support and a well to draw from that's going to keep me excited during that time period and keep me on task and keep it working. And so everybody, you have your own pattern. And
Mm-hmm.
so what's that old saying? My biggest enemy is the inner me.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's
And
good. I
so
like
just
it.
notice that. And I don't
Mhm.
even want you to consider yourself as the enemy, but I want you to consider yourself as one of your resources that you have to manage well. And
Mhm.
if you can manage the resource of you really, really well, then you will be phenomenal in every area. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I've probably been talking for 10 minutes straight, because I'm
Oh,
just
you're
really
fine.
passionate about people really knowing how to take care of themselves, because I
Mhm.
don't think when we sit down and learn all the different things we have to learn about being
Mhm.
entrepreneurs, we
Mhm.
talk about you are your biggest resource. You have to
Yeah.
take care of yourself. How do you get
Yeah.
yourself operating at optimal level?
Mhm.
When you fall down, in one particular, and I'm still talking, but I
Okay,
just
you're fine.
like,
This is
because I remember it
fine.
was one particular period of time when me and my weekly mastermind group, we were all in a funk. We were all
Mhm.
like, we should be doing
Mhm.
stuff and we're not. We should be doing stuff and we're Netflix, and we should be doing stuff.
Mhm.
Um, and we just kind of couldn't get it together. And so I wish, hindsight being 2020, I wish I would have had the wherewithal to sit down and say, okay, you aren't functioning. Let's figure out why you're not functioning, get you functioning. And so I think we naturally came out of it with time. But looking back on it, like I was there, and the part of the reason was my brother had passed away, and I didn't realize I don't like to be the crying girl. Like I will not be that like hot mess person. But what it was happening is I wanted to live in the fantasy world of TV. So I really wasn't functioning or dealing with anything. And so it's just like, had I sat down with myself and said, okay, you're not functioning. Let's figure out why. Let's get you functioning again. I probably would have been out of that in 3 to 6 months, as opposed to a year and a half with that later. And so I want to normalize that for people. You are going to go through something. Like you're just going to go through it. Now, and I want you, and that's part of what makes us who we are, going through life, having challenges and things. But notice what I want the takeaway is to know that you are your greatest resource. And so when you aren't functioning at 100%, then just take a breath, take a minute, take a day and sit down and say, okay, why am I not functioning? And not just kind of, it's like I just kind of accepted and went like, I'm not functioning. I should be functioning. I'm not functioning. Let me watch this TV show again with that. And just that a little bit of awareness would have got me out of it faster. So, okay, I'm turning the floor over for real. All right. So you want to talk about supports tonight.
Well, that's a great segue into, having the right support system who can help you with the self-awareness and help you recognize, because everyone has different energy. I am one to really truly notice, like, hey, we're not moving forward. We're not functioning right. I'm the one that will call that out, but then I'm not necessarily the one that's the best executor, but I'm like, okay, but you're the executor. So you see, we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. So I need you to put a plan together, and I will follow the plan.
Gotcha.
So that's why your circle and your support system, your ecosystem has to be so tight and strategic so that you know who to call on. And even if you don't call on them, they will call out what needs to be called out in the ecosystem so that we can get together and we can strengthen this bad boy. Because it's life. I was the same way. I had recently, just going through some counseling and some just self-work, facing myself, and I heard one conversation, one of my friends, she was talking about when she was grieving her mother and how she just dropped everything. She said, I didn't give a care about business. I didn't care about taking a bath. I didn't care about nothing.
Right.
And it triggered me because I was like, oh, I never did that. I never did it. I was
kept it moving. Yeah,
because I was in a huge transition when my mom passed. So when she passed, I was opening up my business and my new location. So it was like, literally, transitioning from the location, the old location to the next. And then she transitioned and I had to stop.
Right.
And then I had to go back. And handle this business. So I never really took that type of time out. And then I lost my father and my brother within the next few years. Well, some years after her, but then they were kind of back to back. So and then when one of my close girlfriends passed more recently, that triggered everything.
Yes.
I was literally kind of in shock at realizing like my people not here. She triggered, her passing triggered everything. It almost woke me up like, wait, they're not here anymore.
Yeah.
So I think that support system, that person that can keep you
Yeah.
aware. I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you something funny. I have to be very transparent because it's Transparent Transformation Tuesday.
All right, then.
So one of my girlfriends, she's a trainer. She's my trainer. And she texted me last week and she said, "Hey, I just want to let you know, I saw a side view of your stomach that was unacceptable." And what could I say? I knew she was right. And I'm the same person. I'm like, hey, that's a no-go right there, whatever it may be.
Right.
So she
That's so
called me
funny.
out and I said, hey, say no more.
Gotcha.
The flat tummy challenge going on. It's gotta happen because I'm traveling like the next few months. So I'm like, gotta get it together. So if you ain't loving on me like that, we not friends. You know what I mean? Like, call me out.
That's
Call
so funny.
Out. And I tell people at times too, I feel like I had too many yes people around me for too long.
Oh, yeah.
And weren't calling me out and giving me my truth.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things I could really appreciate in my marriage. The person that I had married, it was relentless with calling you out. I was like, is this what a husband does?
Right.
To a whole other level.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there was something, because you got to see the light and everything. I can appreciate it as well because, he made me see me in ways that I never seen myself before and check me. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Let me, I can do better. Let me get it together.
Oh, wow. That a relationship will make you look at yourself so differently, up close and personal. So, but I want to go back to what you said because the mental health therapist in me wants to educate because so many, and I've seen it so many times with African-American females specifically, we will keep it moving. Like the whole world can blow up and we will keep it moving and can keep it moving. I've seen people keep it moving for years. Yeah. And then something happens and somebody passes away. And then all of that grief comes out or whatnot. And so the way I explain it to my clients sometimes is it's like you stuffing stuff in the closet. Oh, mama passed. Let's put that in the closet and keep it moving. Oh, daddy passed. Let's put that in the closet and keep it moving. Oh, they kicked me off my job and I got a lot of emotions. Put that in the closet, keep it moving. Now I'm going to open my own business and da, 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 da. And you can stay busy. Yeah. And then you'll go to and put something else in that closet one day. Everything is going to come crashing out on you. With that. And so
not today.
And so I want everybody to know, ideally as a therapist, I would like for you to deal with each and everything. But I know y'all ain't gonna do that.
Right.
So keep doing it the way you've been doing it. But when that breakdown comes, when you hit that day and you were like, okay, I can't stop crying. Okay, I can't get out of the bed. Okay, I'm not moving. I want you to know that you're okay. I want you to know that you'll make it through it. Yeah. If you are hearing this and you're going through that right now, feel the feelings. Stop trying to stop crying. Let me just, allow yourself to cry all of the crying. And I know it feels like you will never stop crying. You will. But you are probably releasing. I know people who were releasing things from childhood that never got dealt with. It just got pushed in the closet because it was the way of the family to keep it moving. That's where they learned it from. Yeah. And so when that closet finally busts open and essentially all of the stuff comes tumbling out, do yourself a service and sit down and deal with it all.
Yeah.
Figure
it's
out.
Real.
Yep. Like, and I want you to kind of see yourself emotionally looking at every trauma, every hurt, every pain, every piece of grief, and really like sitting there with it, figuring out, is this something that I need to keep? Do I need to repurpose this? Do I need to reframe this now with that? How is this impacting my life? And then, okay, I can throw it away or I need to keep it in the closet or kind of clean it up. And maybe change your story and keep it in the closet. Yeah. And what I mean by that is the story could have been, I was a victim. Now we're going to change the story, reframe the story. And now we're going to say, okay, I was a survivor. Same
Yes.
story, but now we're putting it back in the closet as a survivor with
Yeah.
that. And now, because I'm a survivor, I have all of these tools to help me. And yeah, with that, because I see, I'm sure other people do it too, but it's my African American females that I see the most that will keep it
Yeah.
moving and keep it moving and
Yeah.
keep it moving and keep it moving. And then something
Mhm.
random happens, you know, or a
And you
celebrity,
explode.
right, you
Yeah.
know, and it always catches them off guard. Like
Yeah.
maybe if it's a celebrity that passes that, like, wait a minute, like, you know, it just really throws them off and they don't
Yeah.
understand. And I was talking to one lady, and it was a coworker had died,
Mm.
but she had never dealt with her mother's death.
Mm.
so,
I
so she
understand.
at work and trying to keep it moving. She didn't even really know the coworker. And then next thing you know, she can't stop crying. You know,
Yeah.
and so everybody's
Yeah.
like, "You okay? You didn't know him." It's
Yeah.
all that grief that you haven't dealt with, so
Yeah.
it's gonna come out. Um, and so I say that to say is know that that's a thing that happens. You are not weak for it when it happens, and
Yeah.
really just be compassionate with yourself. Like give
Yeah.
yourself the time and the space to
Yeah.
really work through past trauma, past grief, past pain,
Mhm.
and work through that. And then you will be better to go on for the next 40, 50, 60 years of your life. It
Yeah.
usually hits women about, I'm noticing, usually in their 40s is when
Mhm.
that, like, it just, like the closet just bust open. Like you
Yeah.
just can't
Yeah.
carry anymore with
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And one of the things, Natalie, I always think of, I always think you're going to explode one way or the other.
Oh,
You're going to
yes.
explode outward
Oh,
or you'll explode inward.
yes.
And you want to release outward
Yeah.
so that you can cry and snot and scream and kick and holler,
Mm-hmm.
all the outward
All the
things.
outward things.
So
Yeah.
that you don't implode, because the thing about it is that is sickness, that's illness, that's disease.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That's mental illness.
Yeah.
Even the chemical imbalance, of having a mental
Yes.
breakdown, like get it out.
Mm-hmm.
One
Mm-hmm.
way or the other, get it out
Get
because
it
that
out.
is the natural way.
Yeah.
And I feel, I can see it in a lot of people. And I'm like, mm-mm. And I have this spirit about me that people will come to me and release. And I'm okay with that. That's
Yeah.
why I have private space, for when
Yeah.
people do. And I also have the type of people, my clientele, my friends, the people that are associated with me, what they do? If they see it happening, everybody comes in, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
supports because they know
Yeah.
what to do,
Mm-hmm.
And if it's her time, it's her time. Let her have her time and
Yeah.
let's support her. It's happened so many times in the salon with me. And I've had the time, I don't know if I told you about the time when I had a friend come in and she like, I just can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. And I happen to have someone that was all about that energy work. And when I tell you the salon was quiet that day, it was just us.
Yeah.
And I said, take her in the other room and work on her.
Wow.
And baby, she was on it. Took her in there, did what she had to do with her and let her release. And but the thing about it was I could continue to serve the client that was with me.
Yeah.
And she was able to serve her. That was divine.
Right.
And my thing is, if it ain't like that, if we're not operating like that I don't want it. I don't want it. That's why I'm so particular. That's why I had to take this time that I'm taking now, which is very hard to explain. But I had to take this time to just truly realign and understand what my space needs to look like, how it needs to function, because I'm about the healing right now. Like I'm all about healing. If you coming in my space, you healing.
Wow.
Period. You're not leaving me without starting your healing process. Period.
Girl, you just gave me a word. So I'm coming out of my space at the end of the year. And so right now I'm trying to figure out what my new space is going to look like, be, and cost with that. And I'm all over the place. But I think today it hit me like I need to figure out what's most important in this space. And you saying that right there of making sure it's a space of healing first.
Yeah.
Now kind of transforms what I'm looking for with
yeah,
that. So
yeah. I
girl,
have
thank
so
you
much.
for that.
This is the offline conversation for us to spend a day together. I have so much insight on that. And that particular day, not only that day, but that day was confirmation for me, because you know what the energy is like when you come in my space. But when I started to watch women know that they were coming in for that, and know that they were going to leave with a transformation, I'm like, yeah, this is my confirmation of what I'm supposed to be doing. That's why it's so much bigger than hair. I knew that when I got into the hair. When I learned and understood that, I am managing a person's crown and energy. No way I could be walking around here.
Doing it all any kind of way.
Energy.
Crazy.
Yeah, no way. So I had to be in control of the energy in my space, to give the women permission to give themselves permission to release. And that's why this, transition for me is so significant, because I know how big it is. I have an idea of how big and massive it is. But, so I have a lot of insight on that for you.
Oh, I'm so excited. All right. So bringing it back around to a conversation that's going to help our people. All right. So we've talked about support. I talked about making sure you have a well in which to drink from to keep yourself together, to keep yourself performing at the optimal level, making sure you take time to take care of yourself, making sure you're being compassionate, making sure you give yourself time off. Okay. And I think we've had that in our first conversation, how important rest is. But I'm still feel like I'm fighting with people on, you have to rest. Then rest is just as important as work. And people still, I want y'all to get it. That rest is important. And if you're not working, because even when you're not working, your brain is still working, which is why you have to rest. And so that like things can congeal and come together. So with that. And I also want to say something, and I think I'm trying to chase two rabbit trails. So you pick one, because we just talked about, because I believe, well, I won't say I believe. No, I'll say I believe. Let me check. I'm trying to like make sure what I say is true for my life. It's like, am I checking out my friends and everything? But I feel like it's a lot of us who are in transition and moving and with like a lot of like changing spaces, moving out the country. Like I feel like a lot of people are just transitioning through this year. And so I think what we just tapped in on of what is that new space supposed to feel like? I think I'm really feeling like that's a helpful conversation for some more people. And so do you have, or can we come up with like 4 steps or 5 steps that a person right now who's trying to find a new building, a new office, a new space, a new place, that they need to be conscious and aware of as they do this energetic, because I want them to do the energetic work first. And I mean, actually, I got to do my energetic work first. But what would you say?
Start with clarity.
Okay.
You have to do the work to get clear. And clearing means exactly what you were saying, like, moving things out of the way, allowing yourself to process the trauma and the things that you have been through. Because remember, those blocks from the trauma is what's in your way. Like those are habits, those limited beliefs is what's holding you back from making decisions that could move you forward. So if you're stuck in cycles of the same types of decisions that look like you're moving forward, but you're actually just cycling, in the same, just spinning your wheels. So you have to do the energy work You have to do the spiritual work. You have to do the God work. You know, you have to get clearly, you know, directly connected with source, you know, and let God work through you.
Yeah.
And what that means is you got to let go. You have to forgive yourself.
Yeah.
You have to forgive others.
Yeah.
That's what clarity is. And that's what clarity means. And I mean, I could honestly stop there and talk for days because clarity will heal you.
Yeah.
Clarity will heal the people around you, you know, because that's where you want to make your decisions from. You know, in our past, we made decisions from so many different spaces and learned so many lessons. I don't like to say mistakes, but learned so many hard lessons through very unclear, desperate, fearful, doubtful decisions, you know? And that's how we end up learning a lot of hard lessons, which are okay. It's that's what made us who we are today. Yeah. You know, giving us the self-awareness that we have. But I definitely say clarity, you know, and the clarity is going to give you the discipline that you need to have the self-awareness.
Yeah.
So those are my three: the clarity, the discipline, and the self-awareness, because you have to know why. You know, the self-awareness is, why am I making these types of, why do I need to be seen? Why do I need to be proving something to someone?
Right.
Why am I picking this space that I can't afford? Why am I doing things that I can't afford?
Yeah.
You know, why aren't I pulling back?
Yeah.
And doing what makes sense for my lifestyle, for my future, for my family, for my community.
Right. No, that's really, really good. That's really, really good. I think if I had to add some steps onto that, I want to say, know your numbers. Like really sit down with your accountant and say, okay, how much should my office be costing me? You know, with housing and usually residential housing, we always say housing should be about 30%. And so know that, find out that number for your industry, because I'm sure it differs with the industries that you are. So that's another part of that clarity. Also, the purpose for your space with that, and that's a part of the clarity as well. So really sit down and say, okay, what purpose is this space supposed to serve with that? So a lot of therapists right now, so we just need a physical address because therapy's kind of going online
virtually.
Right. But if I do plan to have a space and have clients come in, like, what would be that purpose? What's the difference? What's online therapy versus in-person therapy with that? And how does that look with that? And so having that. And so I think paying attention to those two things. And then, like you said, like really kind of getting clear. And then I want to give you guys a line that I got from Louise Hay, or Hay House. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of her.
Yes.
But I got this line, and oh my God. right. So I got it off of one of her YouTube videos, and she said, this is the confession I will find. Hers was about home and residential housing, but I've adapted it for everything. But I will find the perfect property in the perfect location at a price I can easily afford. Or so, and I don't know if it like I will. I think it's I have, or like I own the perfect. For her, it was a house. I own the perfect home in the perfect location at a price I can easily afford. And so now I'll be adopting that to. I have, and I think I want to own my office. I'm ready to own. Because I don't want to move again. This whole moving your office every time, like, let's not do that again. And go ahead.
I just want to say the amount of the investment that you put into those spaces.
Yes.
Oh, the numbers. When I looked at the numbers when I moved out of my last space, I was like, oh. First of all, let me not beat myself up because, oh, girl, you made some money.
Right.
So imagine generating that type of money without that type of overhead.
Yes, that's one of the things I'm looking at too with that. So I don't think I want to move again. We'll see.
Ownership is everything.
It creates a stability, and back to kind of energetically, when you, okay, how do I say this without sounding too woo-woo?
Mhm. No, we woo woo. It's okay. We woo woo.
But I think there's an energy to a place. There's an energy. And when you
Yeah.
own the place, you infuse that place with your energy with
Yeah.
that. And so when you're not the owner of it, you have less control over the energy.
Yes.
And
It's
so
absolutely
when
right.
you
It's
have a place
biblical.
where it is, oh girl, don't say that. Don't make me go look
Mhm.
for a scripture on that now.
Mhm.
Oh my God,
Mhm.
you don't know what you would do to me. But but and so I'm just gonna say there's value in ownership with
Yeah.
that, because when you can
Mhm.
really command your space, and because actually I had this conversation with one of my clients, is because there's so many like shared workspaces with that,
Mhm.
but you don't have control over that space. So I don't want
Right.
to, like, one of the things I do as a mental health therapist is I've
Mhm.
always been very, very conscious about what my space felt like.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, and I think all my clients will tell you, like I had a full-size couch, a full-size love seat, a
Mhm.
full-size chair. Like
Mhm.
you could absolutely like lay down and cry. Like you get like it is. And before COVID, like I had blankets for everybody. Like you
Yeah.
needed to put on socks. Like it was
Yeah.
really a place where you could I feel like take off the layers with
Yeah.
that. And so you really want to be able to control that energy so that people can be vulnerable in a place like that. Um, so yeah, this has been really helpful for me.
Yeah, this is really
Y'all
good.
got something
I
out
have
of
a
this. I got something out of this. Like I feel really clear on what my next
yeah.
space needs to be now. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I got out of,
Yeah.
the journey that I've taken is the clarity of what I know I want it to be.
Yeah.
But I have a question for you that I think the listeners will probably have as well. So, how does that work when you have limited time with your clients, and and they're opening up and, just releasing? How do you handle that? When you know that there's limited time, do you ever like schedule where it's like, oh, let me give them an extra, like, let me have an extra half hour in between clients or anything like that? Like, how do you handle?
That's an excellent question. Thank you
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
much. Like that's a really good question. And so there are some clients but like me and you, once we start talking, we
Yeah,
will.
it's yeah.
Like we just have to leave. There's no ending of the
Right.
conversation. It's like, girl,
Exactly.
I gotta go. Bye. So there
Yeah.
are clients like that. And so those clients who have to figure that out over a couple of sessions, okay, you need a
Mhm.
90-minute session
Yeah.
with that. And
Mhm.
so with that, um, when it doesn't happen like that and it just happens to be a day
Yeah.
with that, um, I think I'm trained to probably get you in and out in an hour. Like I can probably break you all the way down. Let's get that
Mhm.
fundamental thing and build you back up and get you out in an hour.
Okay.
But I've also noticed, because there's a supernatural something working, that when I need
Yeah.
to take longer, somehow my next client seems to be a little bit late.
Mm.
When I'm like,
Mhm.
hold on, we not done. Let me go check the lobby real quick. That
Yeah.
client's not there. Then they come
Yeah.
in 15 minutes later, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry I'm late. It worked out perfectly. And
Perfect.
so
Yeah.
there's an energy to it as
Mhm.
well. And so it
I can
seems to
attest to
work out.
that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can.
like and that, like, the client who never runs late happens to be late, running
Yeah.
to the door. I apologize, girl, it worked out perfectly. Just as I'm
Mhm.
walking this client out, I'm walking the next
Mhm.
client in. And so it pretty much works out. I will
Got
say,
it.
um, I am looking at changing the way I do couples therapy,
Mhm.
because I'm noticing my couples I'm losing them. They're
Mhm.
dropping off my schedule with
Yeah.
that. And so I need to change the way I'm doing couples so that I
Mhm.
have them like locked into like 12 sessions, like every Tuesday at 2,
Mhm.
every Wednesday at 3 or something,
Yeah.
because what happens is we got to get y'all, they got to get on my schedule. They got to be at the same place at the same time.
Mhm.
And so, and if somebody has to reschedule for some reason, they may not get back on my calendar. And since my
Yeah.
calendar typically runs 3 weeks out,
Yeah.
Then by the time you realize that you got to reschedule, it could be 6 weeks with that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's just
totally.
not effective for
Yeah.
a couple that's in crisis.
Right.
And so I'm
Yeah.
really trying to figure out, what does that look like in my schedule? Because the other thing I
Yeah.
don't want to do is pre-schedule people and they don't show up.
Oh,
Now I'm
yeah.
losing money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, how do I help you without hurting me with that?
Yeah.
So I got to figure that out. So I'll be having several conversations with several of my mentors in the field to see what's the
Mhm.
best way to do that and to do
Mhm.
couples therapy. I think overall in the field, we're wanting to move to deeper therapy. So as opposed to 1 hour a week for 10 weeks, like maybe spend a whole day together.
Yes,
with
that's
that.
exactly what I was about to ask you. Like, first of all, are there any types of, are you
Yeah.
doing couples retreats? And then like there needs to be more. Like, I can imagine a couple or even just one single person coming in. Sometimes their initial consultation would need to be longer and deeper.
Yeah.
And then it seems like, okay, so we do a couple of hour sessions and then we do a half day session, like the way it's set up, because it's just necessary.
Yeah. I think so. It's the balance
And
of
it's probably
how do I, it's
Very
untraditional. How do I fit that in to my current schedule? Like, so how do I put something new in this schedule? And so it's a lot to figure out.
Yeah, because you do a lot of therapy.
I do.
I don't know if I ever seen nobody hustle therapy like you. You like one of my girlfriends. She's the doctor. And I was like, I ain't never seen a doctor with so many jobs. I know y'all can have so many jobs. But
you know what? Doctors work hard. They do. You know what? God has been really, really good to me with that. And so, first of all, my undergrad is in business and I came out of corporate America. And so I was used to working 6 days a week when I transitioned into therapy. And I thought I'd have better work-life balance in therapy. But you are who you are. But I wanted it. So what I kind of learned from business and all of that is, A, you got to have a specialty. And B, you need to learn the business part of it. Like, you need to learn the marketing, you need to learn the sales, you need to learn something that you don't have to know accounting, but you do need to know to have some understanding of your numbers with that. And so I was very blessed that I think at the same time I came up, coaching for counselors was a thing. So I took a lot of programs and stuff like that. And so back around full circle, and then we'll let you guys go, is make sure you have your wells to drink from. I was talking to a therapist the other day and I was like, okay, what coaches are you listening to? Cricket. What you mean? How are you? Okay, get off the phone with me and go Google, private practice coaches. And because just in there, if you just get everybody's free stuff, you will have a good piece of information to operate on. Everybody, because and that's what I love, and that's what I really love about therapists, is that we are really giving. And so most of those free items out there, they are really good quality items. Like, they will really help you. And so so you cannot operate in a silo. Please get your mentors together, get your coaches together, get your team together, your what do we call it? Your bench, whatever you want to call it, your pulpit, whatever you want to call it, the supporters. But please get them together. And then, Cherie, I'm gonna give it to you. I want to say this last thing. What I learned at the TDJ conference last year, which is why Cherise and I are here. But what I learned last year is 1% of people actually publish content and get it out there in the world. 9% of people engage with the comment, leave remarks, leave feedback. With that, 90% of the population is just watching and waiting with that. And so the world is waiting on you, and you will be part of that 1% by putting out whatever you put out with that. But just that one little piece of information has catapulted me in so many things to just
Yeah.
start doing it and
Yeah.
getting the information out.
Mhm.
And so you never know what one piece of information you will be the key for you, either key for something to click mentally or that key piece of information for now you to execute and start making more money with
Yeah.
that. So, okay, those are my closing remarks. So, Cherise, what do you have? Take the people on home.
Yes. My closing remarks are, first of all, get free. Free yourself.
Free yourself,
Free
and the rest will follow.
Right. Of, what other people are thinking of you, what you think of yourself. Like, open up your mind to a new way of thinking. Like, you deserve it. Put in that mental, spiritual work. Like she's saying, I know a lot of people who don't, like, all I do is listen to YouTube.
Yeah.
And because I need to hear something new all the time, and it's people who all they do is watch TV, watch television shows that aren't real. But I'm like, well, I guess you just live a different lifestyle than me, because I'm constantly having to create, so like, give yourself permission to think different, to see yourself different, to transform yourself, reinvent yourself, and doing the work, like the uncomfortable work that it takes.
Right.
To reinvent yourself, to get free, because there are so many men and women inside of you that you don't even know, that you haven't met yet.
Oh, say that. Yeah, that's good stuff.
But if you don't start releasing some of the old ones, you'll never, ever get the opportunity to meet some of the new ones that want to come out and introduce themselves to you and the world.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
So,
okay.
So I
could preach a whole sermon off of that right there.
Okay.
Okay. Who was talking about, like, was it you? I don't know if it was you, but it was somebody recently has said, like, you've got to let go of the old you to embrace the new you. Like, I'm going to choose the new me. That was you? Like, I'm choosing the new me. That was you. Okay. So I can't remember who it was, but it stuck in my spirit of, like, that choosing the new you. Prioritizing the new you. Yeah.
Yes. I have to prioritize the woman I'm becoming over the woman I
that's
was.
How you say it. Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah. I love when you say that.
That was a game changer for me when I realized that. I was like, oh, that's what it is. I'm too worried about her.
Right? No. I'm letting her make decisions. Right. With that. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm not going to say anything else because I'll get on a whole nother tangent.
Yeah.
All right. I will see you next Tuesday at 9, my dear. Do great things. All right. And out there in the world, thank you guys for joining us. And we hope you're getting something out of it. Feel free to hit me on LinkedIn, hit her on Facebook. We are here for you. If you have questions, feel free to, like, ask the question and we'll answer it. Okay?
Yeah, for sure. I've been getting some really great feedback too.
Yay!
I have to I need to make them share. But like, oh man, I listened to the podcast the other day and I'm
like, yeah. Okay. I would. It's so much to say, but okay, I'm gonna calm down. I gotta go to bed so I can pack in the morning or whatnot. I can't wait to bring back.
Travels.
Yes, thank you. But I really want to bring back something for you guys, so I'll have to figure out, like, how to make sure I take good notes. So
absolutely. You embody exactly what you need to bring back to us.
Yay! Okay. All right. Bye, everybody. Y'all have a good night.
Take care.